Begin transmission.
This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
And good morning, good afternoon, good noon, everybody. I am Bill, and you are in the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. Welcome to all. Chat, give me a good 5x5 if I'm sounding good and looking good, because I am down to one bar right now because I've got a lot going on over here, and that is my fault, not the internet's. Although I have fixed my internet for the most part so that it's not as bad as it was before. Let me see who's here first. Sergeant Slaughter came in very early this morning at 6:54 a.m. and Zazel says, "Howdy, legends. I can't watch this live because it will be 3 a.m., but I'll catch the replay." Thank you, sir. Glad you did that. And Shaitan's Hammer was here. And I Like Salt is here. He says, "Where's this Wild Bill guy waiting patiently?" Here I am, man. Here I am. Bjorn Jorgensen is here. Shambalak's my friend. Good to see you. Blue Harvest Toys is here. Good to see you. Hello there, says he. And Chris over at Everything's Plastic Collectibles says, "Hello, everybody. Hey, Bill, hope you're doing good." I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. It's Sunday afternoon, and I just got up about an hour or so ago. Had a late night last night, but we got coffee, and everything's going to be good. Too sweet, says Bjorn Jorgensen. And sounding good and always looking good. Well, thank you, thank you. Bowie Hicks is here. Hey, man, how's it going? Good to see you. Hello, everyone, says he. All right, that catches up the chat. Let's bring in my co-host here. There he is. What's going on, Joneser?
Same old, man. It's like we never left.
It certainly does feel that way. We had a pretty late night last night, did we not?
We did. Sometimes it gets away from us. We get chatting, and
Yeah, I understand, and I hope that it was all for the better. And I did put on the thumbnail that Sir Clifton would join us today. He may or may not. I haven't heard back from him yet. He may have gone to sleep last night.
Well, that'd be good. That'd be good.
And if he did, and he don't make it today, it'd probably be good for him, I would say. So, yeah.
Right. No good old recharge the battery never hurts no one.
And everybody's going to say hey to you there, Joneser. Chris says hey.
Hello, chat.
I Like Salt says the Joneser. All right. Well, I got a few things to do today. We got some toys to open up. I got my nWo figures that I always wanted. That would be Kevin Nash and Scott Hall to finish out the nWo. And let's see if I can get the old toy cam up and rolling here real quick. There we go. And come down here. And I will solo that for just a second. And there they are. We're going to open those up in just a second. But in the meantime, I just want to kind of unwind a minute and see how everybody's doing. So let me get back over here with me and Jones are there. There we go. I like salt. Here we go. Blue Harvest Toys says the toys he's looking. And I like salt says waiting on my backgrounds to arrive for my model toy snapshots. All right. I don't know if you know this or not, Joneser, but I like salt has model toy cars, and he said that he wants to take some pictures of those and send them to me so that I can showcase them here on the show. And I said, go right ahead, man. We love model cars around here.
My son Caleb would be very interested in that. He's got an overflowing collection in his room and flowing down into my space downstairs even.
For life, Bjorn Jorgensen. Let's see. Shaitan's Hammer says, I think I want the Undertaker and Ultimate Warrior on these bodies. They're peg warming right now at your local Walmart. At least they are at mine. I almost bought an Undertaker the other day when I was in the Walmart. I came that close, but I got Ted DiBiase instead. He's back there. I don't know if you saw him.
I saw him.
I went ahead and got me $1 Million Man, but I almost bought the Undertaker along with him. But instead, I bought an extra Mankind figure. I've already got a Mankind figure, but I bought an extra one for my nefarious activities around here with customizing, if you know what I mean.
I do. You know, and quite honestly, I'd like to get on some of these WWE or WWF figures or even the Marvel Legends and stuff like that. But I'm so deep into Masters of the Universe and comics right now, I do not have spare money to delve into other hobbies, even though I am picking up superpowers and Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Well, you have to cherry pick sometimes, and you have to pick and choose what you collect. I don't generally go outside of Masters of the Universe Origins, although I am kind of buying a few select Masters of the WWE Universe figures, although I didn't buy them when they first came out on the shelf, except for one or two. Got Goldberg in China recently for pretty good prices. I thought Goldberg might have been a little more expensive than what I got him for, but I got him for about what he would have cost on the shelf. I think the scalpers have determined that they're not selling that stuff unless they go ahead and mark it down to a decent price.
You know, when those first came out and I was hunting for Masters of the Universe Origins, when those were brand spanking new, I found a shelf full of those Undertaker Scareglows. I mean, the whole rack. And I wasn't interested in the Masters of the WWE because I wanted to hold out for the Origins. And hindsight 2020, being all the parts are interchangeable and all that, I wish I would have bought every one I saw, because I not only could have completed the collection probably in the early stages, the harder to find ones, but those Undertakers go for what, like 60 to 90 bucks on Evil Bay?
Yeah, the Scarecrow Undertakers, the ones that glow in the dark, they're pretty popular.
Yeah, I had a whole rack of them. I could have bought out the rack. Not that I'm the type of person that would do that, but I'm also the type of person that doesn't like to leave $1 on the table either.
Oh, that's true, and of course, I'm sure that you would only mark them up for a nominal amount to make yourself some money, and that's understandable. Buying up a whole rack of toys though, and then sitting on them, and then going to the Evil Bay and marking them up 500%. That's where we start getting into some let's just say iffy territory.
Well, I call it predatory. Quite honestly. In the comic book games, the same way. People will go to the comic store, and if there's a hot variant cover or something, they'll buy every one on the rack. And there's been a few times where I've seen one, and I'm a businessman, so I don't like leaving $1 laying on the table. And I'll walk by and I'll buy my copy, and I'll see 4 or 5 of them there, and I'm like, man, I could make a lot of money right now, but then you got to walk that line. Do you want to be the scalper or opportunist or whatever you want to call this person? But I hate robbing the joy of people, and so a lot of the times Joneser don't make as much money as he could make if he didn't have a soul.
Well, and we like to keep that as intact as we possibly can, which is why we don't watch certain YouTube videos. We don't watch certain uh, stuff that's out there on the internet, because all of that will take parts of your soul away from you, and we don't want that. I do know that it. I don't know why, but when you were talking about what you just wore, it kind of reminded me of something that happened back in the early 1990s. Uh, the comic book industry had began to struggle for the first time in a long time, and Marvel and DC both had determined that the way to make money was to issue all kinds of variant covers and do all kinds of publicity stunts with their characters, like killing off Superman. All because they had seen this how this had worked. Let's say with the Clone Saga with Spider-Man. Uh, you got X-Men #1, which was a made-up comic book that wasn't necessary to put out, just so they could put out another #1. With how many variant covers were on that?
I
5?
believe 5. Yeah, I think there's the one with there's 3 for the team members, and then there's a 4th one that's a wraparound with all the team members, and then there's a 5th one with Magneto. And I have multiples of every copy, because every time I buy a comic collection, there's a pile of those in there.
Of course,
but
there are.
Those were dollar bin fodder for the longest time, but now they're finally starting to kind of creep up a little bit. I can get $5 to $10 for one of those once in a while at a convention or whatnot. Yeah. So people are finally starting to pay money for those, but it only took 30 years.
Yeah, well, then you got the death of Superman, and of course that one issue came polybagged with so everybody had to buy at least 2 of those, a reading copy and a put away, I'll never take it out of this polybag copy. They did the Bane Batman bit where Batman got his back broke. What was that called?
Nightfall.
Nightfall
series. Nightfall. There's also X-Force #1, which came polybagged with a trading card. And that one has been dollar bin fodder for forever. But then finally somebody realized that was the first time Deadpool was put onto a trading card. So then people started digging into their X-Force #1s, and those started going for crazy prices on eBay.
What had happened a few years earlier, when Action Comics #1 had been sold at auction for, I don't know, it was $11,000. It was really a big price. And this got the people who didn't collect comics, knew nothing about comics, but were what we call speculators, started going to comic book shops in droves, and they would buy nothing but first issues.
Yep.
Now, the comic book industry saw this happening, and they're like, okay, we need to tap this market. It's there. And these speculators bought up all these issues and hoarded them, which caused an artificial price increase to happen in the comic book market.
Then the bubble popped.
It popped bad because what they didn't realize was the reason that Golden Age comics hold such value is because there are such few of them available.
Correct.
Back during the war, they had what were called paper drives, and newspaper print products were thrown onto this on these paper drives to be recycled. Okay, and at the time, comics were considered a disposable entertainment for children and people that were mentally challenged, unable to read books and what have you.
Kindling, birdcage liner. That's what people thought of it.
Pretty much. I mean, it wasn't considered a highbrow entertainment by any means. And moms would come into kids' rooms and get all their comic books and throw them out, or put them on the paper wagon when it came around for the paper drive or whatever. And there just weren't that many of them available, which is why they hold such value. Well, modern comic books at the time were being printed and reprinted in the thousands and millions, and there was plenty of them available, although the speculators had their hands on a lot of them, making it appear that it was a high. But when realization finally hit, and they're like, these will never have the value of these Golden Age comic books, and people started dumping them and getting rid of them, and the market flooded with them. And suddenly the price dropped out of them, which caused that bubble to burst, which also caused Marvel to go into its first bankruptcy.
Right. You know, and to elaborate on some of that, like they printed a lot of these Spider-Mans from the 90s. Spider-Man had 4 working titles in the 90s. They printed a crap ton of them. But Spider-Man was a popular character. You get one of these Golden Agers here, this old crime detective. Now, this would be a lot more rare, but harder to sell, and I'll tell you why. Not because I would price it so high, but because nobody wants to go buy Dick Tracy or Crime Detective or freaking Roy Rogers, or they don't care about it. They still care about Spider-Man. So I'd probably get a better price for that Spider-Man comic book that was massively overprinted and is plentifully available because it's popular. It's got some name recognition. So that counts for something.
I'll tell you now, those old gold key issues with Roy Rogers in them and the Dick Tracy stuff, that's the kind of stuff that somebody like me would be interested in reading.
Oh, I might have to send you a care package one of these days here. Because I got a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that kind of old stuff is kind of entertaining to me. And yeah, you're right. The market for that is starting to die off,
especially for the Cowboys. Kids don't care about the Cowboys no more. Red Dead Redemption 2, the video game, kind of brought back some interest, but not in the comic book form, more in the old Western movies.
Yeah, and Rolando Flores just joined us. So hello, Rolando. I'm glad you're here. And Shaitan's Hammer says, yes, the death of Superman frenzy. It did, however, give us mullet Superman. Yeah, that was a low point.
And mullet Aquaman and mullet friggin' every DC character there was.
I think we even sported such ridiculous hairdo.
There may be a photo of Joneser rocking one of those back in the day somewhere that we burned.
I never rocked such things. The people who were taking care of me, providing me with food and shelter, kind of would give you the old stink eye when your hair started to touch the top of your ears. And Anthony, my brother, his dad was especially one of those types that would collect us up and take us down to the barber shop if the hair was too long. And you didn't want him to do that. You wanted to do that on your own so you could go get, a nice fresh haircut. Because if Daddy took you down to the barber shop, you were going to come home with your head shaved and go to school the next day and get slapped in the back of the head by all your buddies.
See, and I started playing drums in a rock band, and so I had the rocking long hair, like typical kid of the 90s, shaved underneath. I probably looked like Encino Man.
Yeah, but you grew up over there on the left coast, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, that kind of stuff was the norm out there. Here around here, it wasn't necessarily so, especially when you had, somebody like those of us, those who were taking care of me around. They tended to want to keep you on that straight and narrow. And
yeah, I would have stuck out like a turd in a punch bowl over there, huh?
Probably. Shaitan's Hammer says, how to crash an industry. Oh, and then go after something of the return with totally woke and start another. Everything happens in cycles, and this is another cycle. This one here seems to be going on a little longer than I would like, but it's a decade, and a decade is 10 years. So it takes about 10 years for these cycles to go all the way through. So we're still in the midst of this. This too shall pass. Who knows what'll take its place, though. Got to go. I'll have to watch the replay later. Take care, Majestic One. Glad you could be here for the beginning. Salacious Rum, good to see you. My favorite little monkey lizard comes in and says, hey, Bill, it's Salacious Rum, the monkey lizard here. Good to see you, man. I had long brown hair and a beard. Okay.
Nice.
We had a guy, I think he had a almost full beard when he was 15 years old. I've seen that happen. I wasn't so lucky.
I can beat that. I think I was just coming out of 7th, 8th grade, and I was buying cigarettes for my friends at the tender age of 13.
The late 70s, early 80s was an interesting time in this world. I can remember going out and sneaking beers out of Dad's stash. Not my dad, but Anthony's dad. I call him Dad too. He pretty much raised me just like he did Anthony.
Then
But yeah, and I don't know if he was counting those things or not, but probably not. I don't know. But we would get beer and go out behind the barn and try to drink it between the two of us. And we were 11, 12, 13 years old.
I almost think stuff like that has a little better of a kick when you're not supposed to be doing it, because like once you get to the age where you can go in the bar and you can do it legally, you go a couple times and either you really start to like that or you go, okay, I guess this is okay.
Yeah, it becomes passe at that point. I mean, you're not doing something wrong at that point. I think that doing something wrong and the if I get caught, I might get my ass whooped.
Right. A little more of a thrill.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I like Salt says he remembers burr haircuts. I hated that, man. Whenever you got your head done up like that, I mean, it was all day long. Because it'd make that slappy sound when the hand would hit the head.
My grandfather was a fan of the bowl cut. That's what that's how they did it when he was a kid. Mama would put a bowl on his head, trim his hair.
Look like Mo.
Yep.
See, the hammer, I look sort of Amish, really. Okay. That's an interesting look. The Amish look. We don't have a lot of Amish around here.
We do where I'm from.
What we do have here are Mennonites, which is they're an offshoot of the Amish religion. Instead of being full on Amish, where they forego all modern technology, the Amish, the Mennonites, they have radios. They do have electrical appliances, and they do have cars. But if you go down the road here where all the Mennonite farms are, and you look out in front of those houses, all those cars that are sitting out there, there'll be one or two cars sitting out in front of every one of their beautiful, pristine little houses. They keep things really neat and clean. But none of those cars have white wall tires on them. Not a single one of them. Because
we got the Mennonites and we got the full-blown Amish. No electricity, no devices, no nothing. In fact, those are the ones we usually buy our furniture from. They do incredible woodworking.
They do. They absolutely do. All right. Well, let's get started here. I'm gonna finish this cigarette up, and then we're gonna start opening some figures. So I've got now Scott Hall. I got him for a little cheaper price than I would have if he had been fully carded. Everything on him is there in that little inner bubble, but there's no card or outer bubble. So I'll probably start with him. But after him, I've got Kevin Nash, I've got $1 Million Man, I've got China, and I got Goldberg. So I'll leave it up to the chat which one that I'm going to open first of the ones that are still carded, and see what they say. And Sue Studio has came in. Hello there, she says. Hello, Bill and Jones. Good to see you there, Sue Studio. I hope you enjoyed last night's show. And while I'm finishing my cigarette, those of you who didn't watch last night's show, something happened last night at the show. I know a lot of you have been following me very closely, and you know that I thought I had YouTube figured out, Jones, or I'd gone over and found this place called the Super Multiverse, and I thought I seen how to make the unboxing videos and get the views and get the subscribers and get them quickly. So in my mind, I thought I'm going to turn Weird Fantastic Toys into the Weird Multiverse. and I got all these beautiful buxom ladies to come and help me to do that. And I I made my first unboxing video, but it didn't quite go the way I thought it would. So let me share that with everyone.
Hi, I'm Betty Boobs, and today we are going to open the Masters of the Universe Origins He-Man. Oh, he looks so sexy. Do you think I'm pretty? Do you like my sweater? It's kind of chilly in here, teehee. First, let's get him out of his package. He's wearing that X thingy on his chest. And here's all of his accessories. He has a sword and shield and a big ol' axe. Now let's put the sword and shield in his hands and pose him. Oh, look at that battle axe. This is so cool. You can store his sword on his back like this.
What the fuck is this shit? What are you doing?
I'm getting in on the grift. I'm going to make money on the YouTube by doing these videos like this.
You're not doing any of that. You're gonna have to get all these whores out of here. Now.
I think that gets funnier every time I see it.
Well, I guess sometimes I get what I deserve. Oh no, bust by Paula. Yeah, that's some bust. That's Shaitan's hammer. I like Salt says the animations are interesting. Every time I see her, I think of the shop teacher from Canada. Yeah, that I don't know if you've seen that or not, but that's the guy that was taking advantage of the new laws in Canada concerning that particular group of people. I'll leave that up to y'all to look at it. I'm not even going to go touch that too further than this. What AI program is this? What are you talking about? I that was Betty Boobs. You know, I had her come in and work for me there, but apparently Paula kicked them all out of the house. I had Booberella and Stripperella and Betty Boobs, and I had Bimbo Rita. I had her. I mean, I had them all, but she was like, "No, we're not having any of that." Yeah. Oops, yeah. That it didn't work out. They're all gone. There will be no weird multiverse. That's probably the last that you guys will ever see of that. Wah wah wah.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame, but quite honestly, you know, I don't understand, and I said this before when we talked about this subject. I don't understand why the toys, like, they don't need them. They could literally be holding an empty cardboard box or a, you know, bag of marbles, or it doesn't matter.
I think you got a point. I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to tap into on that. Really, to be honest with you, and if you guys out there don't understand what we're talking about, I'm not knocking these people. You know, you don't hate the player, you hate the game. Super Multiverse, if you want to go over there, they have interesting young ladies in bathing suits opening toys that they don't play with or even understand or know anything about, and they do unboxing videos of such things, and they have an OnlyFans if you're into that type of thing, I guess, if you want to look into that. But I think I will switch to a new background, Bill. Okay. All right. All right. So let's get to opening some toys here. Let's move on and do what this show is all about. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get Scott Hall here and start with him. And I already had Hollywood Hogan, the leader of the batch, here for a while. And
why don't you go ahead and put that on full? The audience
yeah, I do that, didn't I? Yeah, let me do that. There we go. Solo that thing out. All right. Yeah, I already had Hollywood. Had him for a while, and I always felt like that sooner or later they were going to release the rest of these guys, because you got to have the whole crew here. So let's start here with Scott Hall. All right, so he's got his WCW Tag Team Championship belt on. In his hand, there's a spray paint can so that they can spray paint Hollywood Hogan's belt with it, or whoever they're beating up in the ring. They would do that sometimes. Back here on the back, I'll take these off, are a set of hands. Now, the nWo hands are very interesting, especially the ones that come with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, because they have a Too Sweet hand in there.
That's awesome. Get a little posability.
Yes. Let's get this. They got it taped up pretty good, so it looks like I'm going to have to resort to some sort of cutting tool here. Let's see what I've got on the table. Oh, there it is. I've got a dangerous item that you kids get adult supervision before you use such things. And we're going to find the edge of that tape and just cut through that with this knife here. There we go. So we got two sets of these Too Sweet hands here. See that there, Jones?
I do.
Yeah, nice. And we got two fist hands, and we got two of the new type open hands that they made for the Superstars figures. The new gripping hands do not hold He-Man swords; they hold bigger items. Now, most of the figures do come with the standard gripping hands instead of these bigger hands as well, but the nWo did not because of the Too Sweet hands, I guess.
Well, that's unfortunate. Didn't they usually? Or no, I'm thinking Sting came out with a baseball bat.
Yeah. All right, and I didn't get Sting. I probably should have, but I didn't get him when he was available. I kind of wish I'd got Randy Macho Man Savage when he was available with his Madness shirt on.
Right. No, that was a cool looking figure. You know what I mean? Quite honestly, when I close my eyes and I think nWo in its heyday or in its prime, who was their number one adversary? I mean, if you're not thinking Sting, I don't know who else.
That's true. And of course, I think Macho Man Randy Savage was part of the nWo for a short period of time until him and Hogan kind of finally had it out again.
Yeah, and Macho went to the red and black.
Yeah, that's when the Wolfpack started, which is a whole nother story. I think we talked about that one night on a late night or something. We were talking about the history of the nWo and how everything happened. Right? So he comes with these sunshades on, and they're removable. Now he's got this little strap around his head that's holding the sunshades on. I'm going to leave that on for right now because as soon as I take that off, the sunshades are going to pop off, and they're going to go on the floor. The carpet's going to eat them, and then I'm going to have to crawl around and wallow in the floor to find them. And he's got a little band holding his spray paint here. Let me get that on. He's got a little band holding that spray paint onto his gripping hand. I'm going to leave that on there as well. And let me put him over here. Let's go ahead and get those Too Sweet hands on him, though. I kind of want to do that. So let's take that off and that off.
And now, Bill, is this all the same tooling for the Masters of the Universe Origins, or are these different?
Yes, it is. It's the same body bugs, pretty much the same sculpts. The only difference is they have wrestling boots on instead of the furry Masters of the Universe, boots.
Sure.
Their waists are just standard wrestling trunks. They're not furry undershorts with big old belts on them. But they are totally interchangeable with the Origin Bucks, which is great for customization. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be working on an Arak Son of Thunder figure to go with my Warlord figure and my Hercules figure, because Lee Customs is getting those heads ready. He's casting them as we speak. And so I got a Hollywood Hogan body to use for that, and I've got some wastes, I think, from the Rulers of the Sun, one of the Rulers of the Sun figures that I have around here, which I'm not collecting that. I'm using those figures as fodder for customization. So here we have Scott Hall, and he's flashing the two sweets sign there. Can you see that there, Jones, or is it coming in?
I do. In fact, I think it looks pretty sweet.
Not bad at all. So moving over to the chat here, let's see what folks were saying real quick. Catch up on chat real quick. Bo Hicks says, do these guys come with the WCW Tag Team Championship belts? Yes, they do. And as you can see, Scott Hall there is wearing his. Moving on down. Bo Hicks said 6 was my favorite NWO member. Yeah. And he got fired and he moved back over to the D-Generation X and called himself 6 Pac or something like that.
X-Pac.
X-Pac. There you go.
He was 1, 2, 3 kid. And then if you add 1 + 2 + 3, you get 6. So you're 6 in WCW. And then he moved on to X-Pac.
I got you. Macho Man was one of Chris Tremblett's favorites. Moving on down. Oh, yeah. Snap it to a Slim Jim. I remember those commercials.
Guy made a crap ton of money off of that.
All right. So nobody's told me what figure I need to open up next. So obviously it's going to be Kevin Nash.
That's what I was going to suggest. I think I need to see the trio completed.
Exactly. And what I'm going to try to do here, I'm going to try to play something. And if I just play this in the background from the computer, I'm wondering how well that's going to come across and maybe not trip the copyright ID. But you hear that, Jones?
Do World Order. Bill, did we lose audio on you?
No, I'm still here. Music's kind of loud. Let me turn that down just a little bit.
Say, I can't hear it at all.
Hear that?
The music? Barely, but I do hear you
Well,
now.
that's probably a good thing. I'm playing the NWO. Kevin Nash, Wolfpack Rules, New World Order symbol. So this is where the big boys play Too Sweet. And, of course, the line came with Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Ultimate Warrior, and Shawn Michaels.
My Walmart has a crap ton of those Undertakers and Ric Flairs and Bray Wyatts. And
Yeah, mine too. That's what's taking on. There's a bunch of honky tonk men in there too.
Papa Shango, a lot of those.
Yeah. Get these hands out of here.
Make sure you don't cut your fingers there, Bill.
As Grindhead Jim would say, be careful, Bill.
Right. For Bill's next magic trick, he will regrow his thumb.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. And he comes with the same set of hands that Scott Hall did. He's got the 2 sweet hands here and 2 fists, closed fists. See if you can see that. It's that closed fist there.
I do.
All right.
And these hands, those closed fists in particular, that's also a Motu Origins reuse.
It is. Those closed fists originally came with the original He-Man and Prince Adam box set 2-pack. I think was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And they never got released with the wide release of the Origins figures, but that mold is out there, so good on Mattel for finding a good reuse for it.
I could be wrong, Bill, but I do believe that Thunder Punch He-Man got a use of that fist.
You're correct. You're absolutely correct. Trying to do this without hurting this faux leather of his pants here. Cut. There we go. Got you cut. All right, so get that thing out of the way, and off of this blister he comes. There we go. Now, put the blister away along with these card backs. I'm not going to save them. I'm going to trash them. I know I can hear the gasps out there.
Do you typically save the blister cards for stuff, Bill?
It depends. Say, for instance, the Origins, I have been saving some of them, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the top art off that has the picture on it and throw the rest of it away and maybe make some sort of a collage with them.
Yeah, I have saved every Origins card back and box so far, but I am starting to run out of room of where to put them and starting to wonder why I'm keeping them. I love the artwork so much I can't seem to bring it to myself to throw it away.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat you are, and I understand that. All right, here we go. Here's a flaw. He's got some paint slop here on his arm. I'm sure that a little bit of acetone will get that off of there. He's got tattoos on his arm. Let's see if we can get those to focus in. You see those tattoos on his arms?
I do.
Kind of neat that they included that. He's also got a strap around his head holding his sunshades on. So I'm going to leave that on there and let it continue to do its job. He's got molded hair around here, and that's kind of affecting his ability to move his head up and down. But and his shirt is different. His shirt is not cloth goods. His shirt is actually molded plastic, and it's in the style that they would sometimes come out in, where they would just have their shirt cut down here, and so they could take it off real quick. So his shirt is a little different from the cloth goods shirt that Nash is wearing, which has sleeves in it still, and Hogan's is cloth, but it opens in the front so he can rip it off if he wants to. And let's switch these hands out for some 2 sweet hands. Go.
Bill, you have to excuse me for a second. I got to do a quick chore but I'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Sure. Take care of business. And I'll just continue to do what I do, and that's open figures. All right, so now we got Nash, and he'll stand over here on the other side of Hogan. We'll put these hands back up in a little plastic bag and put them off to the side somewhere, out of the way. And catch up on the chat real quick here while we're doing that. Kevin Nash. Yeah, that's who I'm opening. That's who I open up next. Static. YouTube's is listening. Yeah. See, Rolo says, I do have to say these figures do intrigue me. It looks like some real good face sculpts. They do. Actually, the face sculpts look pretty much like the characters that they're mimicking. So I think they did a very good job on that. And they also have that Masters of the Universe figure look about them. So it's not like they just reused some old Mattel WWE figure sculpts. And all I hear is a static. Okay, well, y'all didn't get to hear the music, which probably is a good thing. Wolfpack is in the house. Shawn Michaels wasn't in the WCW, so I'm confused by the back of the card. Yeah, well, these are the WWE Superstars figures. Now, yes, the nWo is most famous for being in the WCW, but when the WCW folded and Vince McMahon bought them out, and they did do a return of the nWo, and they debuted in WCW for a short period of time. It didn't last long at all. So that's how I guess that's how they justify releasing the nWo into the WWE Superstars toy line. Let's see. No blood allowed on the YouTubesies. Now we didn't cut ourselves. Big Sexy is in the house now. It said that's genuine imitation of simulated leather. That's correct. Or pleather. Or let's see. What I believe will become collectibles I leave in the original package, and that is why I buy at least two of everything I collect. You know that I'm going to play with one. Absolutely. So Studio says do China next. Okay, we'll do China next. And yeah, good to see you. Studio says I like salt. So we'll do China next.
The ninth wonder of the world.
Absolutely the ninth wonder of the world. Still there, Jones?
I just popped back in. I just thought I'd let you know I was here.
All right, good deal, man. Good deal. I'm going to put these guys off to the side and we'll get China out here to the front. And I was looking at the figure here of Joni Lauer in her package when I got it, and it was all I could do to keep from opening it and waiting till today to open this up. So we'll look at the package fronts. China, ninth wonder of WW Eternia. Highly articulated for power posing. And there she is in all her glory. And I kind of mentioned that she's got the figure has a pretty face on it. And Joni had a pretty face too, but that face, although as pretty as it is, doesn't look like Joni Lauer to me.
No, she had a unique look to her. They kind of sexied her up for this. Maybe that's the mix of China She-Ra.
Yeah, they actually softened her features up quite a bit for that face sculpt there, but it's a pretty face sculpt, so I'm not going to complain too much. It says includes collector's sheet, and that's correct. The Masters WWE Universe had just a little sheet in them instead of a full-blown comic book. She has her comb axe in her hand back here. It looks like they're wrestling in the Snake Mountain ring, which I didn't get one of. I got the Grayskull ring. It says, don't treat her like a woman and don't treat her like a man, because this princess of power traveled from WW Etheria to WW Eternia to become the last superstar standing. Armed with battle axe of beautification, twist into powerful battle positions. You can collect them all. And the cross-sell art down here at the bottom has got Stone Cold Trapjaw, which I have one of, but I've pretty much taken him apart and took all his parts and made another figure with them. China and the second issue of Rey Mysterio, which I have that figure as well, but I stole his accessories, his wings, and his jetpack and his boots for other figures. So we're going to go ahead and pop this blister open and try not to harm the little card that's underneath it. And get her out. First, we'll start with the little card. So let me get that out of there without hurting it. And there we go. Knocked over some figures. Oh, well. All right, here's the front of the card. That looks like Macho Man Randy Savage there, along with Scareglow Undertaker. And here we have China. On the back, we have her standing in the ring there. That looks like the Grayskull ring this time.
The She-Ra pose for sure. That's the for the honor of Grayskull pose.
Absolutely. And it says here, China, ninth wonder of WW Etheria. The great battle has begun. A darkness threatens to consume WW Eternia as a faction of evil superstars from parts unknown rise from parts unknown to control the balance of power. But the heroic superstars accept the challenge to defend the planet and determine who are the masters of the WWE universe. And it says her height is 5 foot and 10 inches. Her superstar power is beauty and brawn. And the foreign objects she has are her princess power, crown, and battle axe of beautification. And let's get her out of her plastic prison here. Here she sits on her blister, inner blister. And camera down while we can see what's going on here. So we got her accessory pack back here in the back, and it's not taped on, and she has the little rubber bands holding her in, so they're kind of easy to get off on her arms, but she has the little things I got to cut down there on her feet.
The stringy dinghies, I call them.
The stringy dinghies. That's a technical term that I will start using.
That's what I've been calling them since my first Origins figure. Stringy dinghies.
Yeah. Well, I like to be honest with you guys, I like these stringy dinghies better than these little tabby things.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those either. I get why they put them in there to hold the figure in place. But
yeah, McFarlane Toys actually put them through Superman and Batman's capes.
Yeah, I got one of those sporting the original hole. I have not done my Cape Mastery duties there on that one.
Whoever, from what I understand, they somebody listened to us and they're going to stop doing that. We'll see with the next release.
You know what's funny though is on the soft goods with the Masterverse figures, some of them had that, but it did not leave a big gaping hole in the cape. So there's a way to do that and still preserve the cape in some sort of fashion.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I noticed. Now, I think this is using the She-Ra leg sculpt. The upper calf here of the She-Ra figure was molded differently than the regular Origins because it had to fit down into this boot cut here for the She-Ra boot tops are different. So these leg tops will, if you try to use them with regular T-Law boots, it'll snap in, but it don't look right. Does that make sense there, Jones? Or
it does.
And of course, she's got armbands up here that She-Ra didn't have. This middle piece here, her waist is solid. It doesn't have any sculpt on it whatsoever. And our drip showing here. She got your panties on, and her top. I think it looks like it's like a tube top that she's wearing up here at the top. So that's a whole new sculpt too. I don't know if She-Ra had that or whether this is a new sculpt just for Joni. You can tell me because you got a She-Ra figure, don't you, Jones?
I do. It looks different to me, but I can't say for certain. I would also say she's got a little more of a Catra look to her than she does the She-Ra look, except with the helmet piece.
Yeah, the crown is removable. Was She-Ra's crown removable, or was it molded?
It was, but it was more like the vintage, where it looked a little more like a finger ring. It did not look like that.
Okay.
That would have been much better a look on the She-Ra figure that we got. That looks more like the Masterverse She-Ra we got, which is superior in every way.
Now, it's not really visible here on camera as I'm looking at it, but on either side of her forehead, there's little indentions in there that kind of take these tabs that are on the crown.
Yeah,
allow the crown to go in, and it's just held on with friction. So
the same with the Catra figure in the Masterverse has that same feature, which is neat. But at the same time, if you take the piece off, then it leaves that.
Right. Now this isn't bad noticeable. You could take that crown off and display that figure, and I don't think anybody would notice except those of us who are in the know.
Now, Bill, do you think there's any way in heck that WWE licenses a China figure and puts their name on it if, unfortunately, what happened to Joni didn't happen?
No.
Me neither. And that's sad in itself.
Yeah, well, somebody's getting paid for it, and I would say it's probably somebody in Joni's family.
I sure hope so.
I do, too. I hope that they're not just doing it because they know they can. But you know how that goes.
I do.
Okay, no extra hands. No extra hands in the bag. We have the Battle Axe of Beauty, which I guess harkens back to the fact that the original Princess of Power figures had rooted hair, and it came with a little weapon but it had a comb on it, so the little girls could do the hair play by combing their hair. And she comes with a cape, which is kind of interesting because I wonder if this could be reused with Evil Lynn.
My guess is that it could.
And to get that cape on, we have to snap the head off and put the cape on like this and snap the head back on. And how does that look there, Joneser?
That looks great.
Absolutely does.
And I do wonder if that cape would look fantastic on Evil Lynn, because I bet it would.
I have a feeling that it would, and it might just do that here in my collection. I don't know. But for right now, I'm going to display the figure as is. So there is China. See if she'll stand on her own or if I have to go get a stand. Let's do the old Hebrew trick here. All right, stand up, girl. All right, she don't want to stand. That cape's pulling her down in the back. And of course, I knocked over the nWo, so I picked them back up, put them back on their feet. And I guess we'll do Goldberg next. Goldberg. And we'll look at the front of the box. The card's kind of beat up here. I bent card back, but it was actually an unpunched card. So highly articulated for power posing. Goldberg, heroic human jackhammer, and he's even got his tattoo on his arm. It says, many superstars of WWE Eternia have tried to take down the hero they call Goldberg, but all have fallen. There's only one question for future challengers. Who's next? Armed with axe, twist into powerful battle positions. And the cross cell says that Goldberg, Kane, the demonic red machine, Stephanie McMahon, evil $1 billion skull queen, and Ultimate Warrior, heroic champion of WWE Eternia were all figures in this particular wave. And back to business here. We're going to open this card back up here and get down in here. First, we'll get the card out. Uh-oh. Don't you hate it when the card is attached to
The comic?
Yeah, the little comic card is glued onto the
Yeah, I had a Origins one like that and more or less destroyed the comic.
yeah. I'm gonna try to peel this up and save it if I can. How much of that did I save? Most of it. So it actually opens up a little bit here. So we've got that going on. Look at that right there, where it was glued together right there. Oh well. On the front, it looks like Goldberg is got the Ultimate Warrior and got a hold of him. Comic here goes, another superstar falls to the champion. The only question is who's next. And it looks like Snake Man here saying, Goldberg, you're up. And there's the chance, Goldberg. You've got two Snake Men on either side of him coming to the ring. Goldberg. All right. Goldberg. Who's next?
I like that they kind of blended in with Ram Man there. It kind of makes sense for his setup to his finishing move with that spear.
Yeah, and the spear, and then followed by the jackhammer. The great battle has begun. That's the same stuff that was written on the China card there, and it says his height is 6'4" tall. His weight is 285 pounds. Superstar powers can smash through anything or anyone. And foreign objects are jackhammer armor. Okay, so put the little comic folder away and pull Goldberg's inner packaging out. Excuse me. All right. We will start with his accessory pack. I will attempt to open here. There we go. And his accessory pack is just a helmet and a battle axe. Nothing else. No extra hands with these figures. So we'll put these to the side. Here's the helmet. And I like that he has a removable helmet. It kind of makes me wonder what it would be like to fix up Ram Man with a removable helmet. Once again, just like China, he's got the rubber band stringy dinghy at the top and the little plastic stringy dinghy, tab stringy dinghies down at the bottom. So,
yeah, the Ram Man, they never got the removable helmet, but they did get the swappable heads to get a different look to the helmet. But I believe that Masterverse Ram Man that's coming I think he has the ability to go helmetless, but I'm gonna have to double check.
that would be interesting. That would be interesting. I would like to see what the interpretation of what his face under that helmet's going to look like.
I like to think he has a flat head, like flat top from Dick Tracy.
Yeah, from all that abuse.
That's my take on it.
And as you can see, he's got the standard WWE Superstars trunks, which is just basically a plain buck, no hair, but it's Goldberg. So he's got the symbol on the back of him. The symbol on his ass here is the same one of his tattoo on his arm. The armor is removable. There are two tabs here and here that I guess that snap right on out, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it on. And I'm going to put his helmet on his head and see how he looks with that helmet on. Not too shabby, huh? Pretty cool. There we go. And this looks like the standard Ram Man battle axe, the same one that came with the figure. Now, here's an interesting thing. his wrist cuffs, like the Rey Mysterio, are removable. You see that?
I do.
Kind of neat. So we can take his wrist cuffs on and off if we want to. And that I may steal Goldberg's wrist cuffs for my Eric figure. So to repaint and reuse for the Eric Son of Thunder custom that I'm working on. So there's that, and we got Goldberg already, and there he is in all his glory. There he is. How about that there, Jones? Or let me catch up on the chat real quick.
Looking good.
All right. Yeah, I glitched again. Well, look, even though we got the better internet, we know we're going to glitch every once in a while. That's just a thing. That's part of our live streaming. Someday, if I can go full 4K and get the better modem, maybe we can cut all of that out, but and maybe even a better computer. But it's going to happen. So as long as I'm not glitching completely out, and if I do that, Jones will be sure and let me know, so I'll know I'm not here.
Absolutely.
She-Ra of the WWE. Comax, they needed to include it in the retail She-Ra. They didn't.
I don't believe they did, because they didn't have the brushable hair, so I didn't think they wanted to draw attention to it. I believe she came with a sword and a shield and the removable mask, and that is all.
Okay, so that was retail She-Ra. Now the exclusive She-Ra that came out at that one of those conventions, it had rooted hair, did it not?
I do not know. I did not get the figure.
I didn't either. And it also didn't come on a Masters of the Universe branded card back. It came on a Princess of Power card back. That exclusive figure did.
Right, and I really feel like the Motu Origins one should have to. In fact, I'd have to say the She-Ra figure for Motu Origins is probably the weakest figure, I'd say, in the entire line.
I like Salt says he learns a lot from us. Well, that's interesting. I'm glad to know that I'm teaching somebody something. Too much history between China and Triple H, Stephanie McMahon and Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon wouldn't allow it. It's a wonder that she was inducted with DX. Well, that was all Triple H's doing. Joni finally cooked her goose with the WWE, and I don't think that she would have been any part of WWE and if she had still been alive. What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. I think the bridge has been burned, and I'd like to think that they could have fixed it down the road, but I doubt it.
Yeah. I learned about China from you, he says. Well, there's a lot to that story. I think her and Sean Waltman, they made a chicken brown cow video together, if I'm not mistaken.
You're not. That was the beginning of her chicken brown cow career.
Oh, sad.
It is because I feel like she did it to maintain a lifestyle and the money and the income that she had grown accustomed to. And when her reality TV thing didn't kick off, and she was supposed to get the lead role in the Wonder Woman movie, which didn't happen, and I heard that crushed her because that could have been huge for her.
Yeah, that would have been very interesting. She had what I consider the body type for Wonder Woman as an Amazon.
Absolutely. I think the problem was I don't think she had the ability to act. She could play one character, the strong silent type.
Did either, and that's the problem. A lot of times when these wrestlers decide to go into the movies, I guess John Cena being one of the exceptions. The Rock was in movies, and I don't think he act worth a fool.
The Rock and Hulk Hogan. John Cena's movies are usually pretty terrible. He's gotten better as he's done more of the quirky comedies than he did as an action star. I don't think he was very good in The Marine or any of that, but he was good. And there was one where he was a parent. They were trying to mess up their kid's prom night. He was very good in that.
All right. Last but not least, here's the $1 Million Man. Includes a fabric entrance suit. $1 Million Man. Now, what's interesting about these little cards here, they're inside the blister pack and they're not attached, so they're removable. So if you've got like figure stands, especially the old WWE figure stands, had a little slot in the front, and you could put these in that little slot on the figure stand. Did you know about that, Jones? Am I here?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I did know about that.
All right, here we go. Series 3, everybody's got a price. $1 Million Man. Everybody's going to pay, always gets his way. And this particular line we talked about had Undertaker, Papa Shango, $1 Million Man, and Mankind. And most of these figures are still stinking up Walmart to this very day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're all haunting mine. And quite honestly, I thought about getting that whole line just because it was easy to get.
Yeah.
And every one of those characters I'm a big fan of.
Absolutely.
I wondered what kind of adventures Papa Shango could have, say he got recruited by Skeletor.
That would be an interesting idea. I thought about that myself, although I stole his necklace and gave it to my Conan.
Made sense.
All right, here we go. Let's see what he's got in his hand pack accessory back here before we get the figure off the bubble there and get this tape off of here. All right, what does he come with? Oh, he comes with an accessory. Besides the hands, he comes with a fistful of cash. You see that?
Yeah, I can't think of anything better that he could come with except maybe basketball or Virgil.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You ever see the bit with the basketball with him?
Tell us about it there, Joneser.
All right, there's a bit where the $1 Million Man had a basketball set up in the ring, and I believe he was going to give either $100 or $50 or some prize to somebody from the audience that could come up and bounce the basketball, dribble it 10 times without missing. And he counted along on the microphone. He had the kid practice, and the kid practiced and got it just fine. And then they're counting off, and he's counting off, of 1, 2, and finally they get to, 7, 8, and he kicks it.
Right.
So the kid would fail.
Right. Sounds like a typical Ted DiBiase trick there.
Right.
So he comes with 2 open hands, which is interesting because this is the open hand that came on all the Origins figures. But the other hand, we never saw that hand except in the He-Man Adam 2-pack that was a con exclusive. So way to go, Mattel, for reusing those molds. And he comes with 1 closed fist and 1 of the standard gripping hands, not the big old gripping hands that came with the Superstar, the other Superstar figures. And so I'm going to put his accessories back in this little bag here. And I did not know that he came with the fistful of dollars there. So that's kind of an interesting accessory to have for $1 Million Man. But you're absolutely right. That is a perfect accessory. Now, am I mistaken? Is there something missing off of this $1 Million Man? What is missing from my $1 Million Man that all $1 Million Man figures should have, Joneser?
Well, I would say the $1 Million Championship would be the thing I would think he would have.
Yeah, I mean, we got championship belts on the Wolf Pack over there. Why is $1 Million Man missing his $1 Million belt?
And I'm wondering if they just went cheap because of he's got all the clothing accessories and he's got the fistful of dollars and all that. But yeah, that championship belt would have been something they should have had.
Absolutely, and I think that belt, the mold for that belt was available from the earlier Mattel line. So I'm gonna have to acquire that belt. With this outrage cannot be stood for, Joneser.
No, and I don't blame you there. I would want it myself if I was you.
All right, I'm not going to take his clothes off, but I did open his jacket front up, and we see that the jumpsuit underneath is a one-piece jumpsuit, and the jacket comes off. The back has got a dollar sign on it. It's got a collar on it made of looks like some kind of silver fabric here with dollar signs on the lapels. He's got the standard open grip hands, the big open grip hands here on him already. So the face sculpt, that looks like Ted DiBiase to me.
Absolutely. That's definitely his likeness.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job of that. Goldberg too. The other figures that I have already that are not on display, that would be Mick Foley, aka Mankind, and Stone Cold. They look very, very much like the figures that they're modeled after. Yes, the exclusive had the rooted hair, says Shay Ted's Hammer, talking about the She-Ra. The body was a standard She-Ra in the exclusive, but the head was doll-like and not removable. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I thought that the head was removable. She had a meeting with the WWE, but they wouldn't leave and let her in the building. Now, all right. Do you know more about what she's talking about there, Jones?
Yeah, I do believe that she had tried to mend fences with them at some point, and for whatever reason, she was kind of snubbed, or a dialogue was never established. I believe something similar happened not too recently with CM Punk. The WWE was in Chicago. CM Punk, being a Chicago native, showed up there, and he got backstage and got to talk to his friends, and then talked to Triple H for a minute, and then requested some time to talk to Triple H and Vince, and then he was told to please leave the property. And I do think that the reason they do stuff like that is sometimes if people are under contract with other companies, or they could be brought to a lawsuit if they're appearing on their television or in their production.
I think you might be on to something there. That sounds about right for the litigious ways of our society today.
Right, and they don't want to risk themselves to litigation for something. I know they're not supposed to be in discussion or tampering with stars not under contract or that are under contract with other entities.
Right, and of course, that kind of harkens back to some of the bad business practices of the old days, where they would snipe talent from one another and stuff like that.
Correct. I think that's where a lot of that comes from.
All right, so what I'm basically doing here, I'm kind of got another plastic bag, accessory bag, and I'm putting all of the smaller accessory bags into it to kind of keep them all at one place. And I think I'm kind of done with the figures. If anybody wants me to showcase any particular figure, just let me know. Of course, the WWE Superstars figures do not come with any sort of little card or comic. There's just the Stephanie McMahon one. I do have that figure, but I used the body bulk to make a custom figure of Mia Asano. But I just thought I'd show that real quick before I put it away. So if anybody wants me to showcase any particular figure that's out on display or something that I have handy, just let me know in the chat, and I'll do that. But let's see. Susudio says, $1 Million Man also appeared with a suitcase, and where's the $1 Million belt? Yeah, we're talking about that. I'm gonna fix the $1 Million belt problem here at some point or another. I can't stand that. That to me, that's a complete outrage that they didn't include that accessory. What do you think there, Jones?
Absolutely. That is definitely the glaring thing missing. And when you first started mentioning something glaring missing, that's exactly where my brain went.
Yep. And I, in my naivety, thought that it was there, but you couldn't see it because the jacket was covering it up, and I didn't, look down in there to, like this when I bought the figure. I just snagged it off the shelf and threw it in the basket with all the rest of the crap,
Right.
So yeah, that's the only gripe I've got with that figure was the one missing accessory, and of course the suitcase. I can let that one go. I've got plenty of WWE suitcases here from various Jakks Pacific and Mattel accessory packs that I bought over the years. So I could fix him up with a suitcase easily enough. But the $1 million belt, yeah, I'm gonna have to get one of those, and that I don't think that's going to be an easy thing for me.
Well, and I can speak to. I was not a fan of the Masters of the WWE, and even though I'm a big Masters of the Universe fan, it didn't appeal to me due to the characters not looking the way I think they should look, and I'm not a big on customizing. So it really just didn't have anything for me. I do think it's a step in the right direction for people like me, for the characters to be appearing in their classic, most iconic forms where they're remembered and revered the most. If that was my set of figures, I would be bummed that Goldberg doesn't look like Goldberg and China doesn't look like China. I would be more excited about the other three that look like their likeness.
Now, I'll tell you something about that Goldberg figure. The armor's removable. Once you remove all the armor, he looks just like Goldberg. I think he even has hair on his chest.
Well, there you go. Then that's what I would do, and I would find some other place for those bits. But that's just me and my personal taste. And I've always said this on my channel a lot, is there's no wrong way to Motu, and that applies to anything. There's no wrong way to comic.
Of course, we all play with our toys in our own way, and my way, if it's not your way, doesn't mean that you're wrong.
Correct.
It doesn't even mean that I'm right. It just means that that's the way we want to play with our stuff. And I'm a libertarian. That's my political leanings, and the way I feel is, if I'm not bothering you, leave me alone.
I'm with you on that one, sir.
Yeah, if I'm not harming you or intruding in your life in any way, and I'm over here minding my business, mind yours, and I think everything will be all right. You know what? Who was it? Was Ralph Waldo Emerson in that great poem said, "Strong walls make good neighbors."
Yeah, or at least some good boundaries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have a friend who will remain nameless, but he has a hard time setting boundaries with people. People walk all over him, and I have to look out for this cat and say, "Look, dude, you need to tell this person to politely go F themselves."
Yeah. Here's the fence. Okay. Everything on this side of the fence is mine. Everything over there on your side of the fence is yours. You're welcome to come over and visit on my side as long as I'm aware of it and I'm good with it. But don't come over here when you're not wanted, and everything will be good. And I don't think that's too much to ask.
No, or don't try to make my side of the fence be like your side of the fence.
Exactly. I mean,
my side of the fence is just fine the way it is.
Exactly. Good point. And Susudio noticed that missing belt before I even mentioned it. They could have at least put less hands and added the belt. I agree. I think one of the strong selling points of this line were the extra hands, because they're perfectly usable with the He-Man figure. So you can have your Masters of the Universe figures with different hand poses than what they actually came with, and that extra open hand for the the left hand and the right hand, both being able to have open palm grips. Now I can have He-Man slap Skeletor with pop,
Or even like I do this with mine, where you put the hand out like this, like, come on.
There you go.
Let's fight. Or even like this, stop right there. Like, there's a million expressions you can do, or you could have the fist to punch or the fist to shake it at your enemies.
I like the idea of a closed fist that doesn't have that little hole in it for the weapon, so that He-Man can punch the camera like that right there, like he always did in the opening of the cartoon.
Right. No, and the Masterverse line was very good about those different hands for those expressions and for the ability to carry the weapons and things like that. And I think they get a lot of bang for their buck there. with those.
But as far as the gripes that we have with modern figures, comparing them with the figures that we had as children, which were mainly 5 POA, if that sometimes, no interchangeable parts whatsoever. I mean, we're in much better shape when it comes to action figures today than we ever were back then.
Well, I think it depends on what you want out of your action figure. Now, with the vintage ones that we were playing with them. So we were beating them together. We were putting them through the play sets. We were moving the plane around. Meow, we were doing stuff like that. Mm. Well, then Origins comes out, and they walk the best of both worlds, where they have the playability that the vintage toys had, but they also have that adult aspect where you can pose them and put them into different situations that the vintage toy couldn't do. But you also get the play sets and the vehicles. Now, I'd say, for my money, the best action figure would have to be the Masterverse or the Classics because of the 30 points of articulation, all the things you can do with it. But the knock on it is, as far as a figure to play with, it doesn't really work. It's cumbersome. It's hard to do stop motions with them because they're so stiff posing. They're too big to have a play set or a vehicle or anything like that. I think the best or only vehicle you really got is this Battle Cat here. I mean, as far as like a Wind Raider or anything like that, forget it. The thing would be like freaking this big. Or a Castle Grayskull would be.
Well, look at the Classics. The Classics released a few vehicles, and they were huge. Absolutely too big to display, much too big to actually play with.
Right. But I would say they're the superior action figure if you just want to put them in a pose and stick them on a shelf and dust them.
Yeah, and that goes back to kids do the boinky boink play where, and I can remember this myself. I wasn't concerned about the posability as much as smashing them together, He-Man fighting Skeletor or whatever,
Well, that's why Beastman never had a good face paint on a vintage figure, because everybody was punching their Beastman in the face.
All the things all wore off. That nose problem that you see on all the Beastmen.
From all the times you put He-Man in that action feature and he whapped them one.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bubba Hicks's favorite pastime is not bothering people. I've always said this. How hard is it to mind your own business? I think it's pretty damn easy because I do it on a daily basis.
You actually got to go out of your way not to.
That's what I'm saying. If you're minding your own business, how do you have time to mind somebody else's?
You don't.
Right. Susudio used to put Barbie's Page Boy wig on Ken because he had short hair and she was a Monkees fan.
That's awesome.
Absolutely awesome. I love Susudio's little asides and stories. They just add to things, don't they?
You know what? I could elaborate to that with the Monkees. Everybody remembers Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses doing that little dance. Mm-hmm. He totally stole that from the Monkees.
Sure he did. Was it stealing or was it repurposing?
Well, he used it, but they used it first, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with the Nature Boy strut. I think that he got that from Jackie Fargo.
Absolutely.
Well, all right.
Even the Nature Boy gimmick he took from Buddy Rogers.
Well, that's right. And there were several Nature Boys besides Ric Flair, who is the most well-known Nature Boy. There was Buddy Landell as well, was a Nature Boy, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you are correct.
And it was the same. It was the same gimmick: bleach blonde hair, faux suntan body, the whole bit, if I'm not mistaken.
The Nature Boy.
Woo! Space Mountain, baby. Oldest ride in the park with the longest line. All right. That kind of brings me to the end of the toy section of the show, which is what mainly I wanted to do. So now I have even more WWE Origins type figures to bring out. So I think that it's time for me to dig out my Snake Mountain ring, which I've had for a long time, but nobody's ever seen it on the show. What do you think there, Joneser?
Wrestlers got to have somewhere to wrestle.
Absolutely. And I'm thinking about making a video at some point or another. It's probably going to get me ID struck because the Rock House theme of the nWo will get you got here on YouTube, but it's not a strike. It's just the ID claim, which is a whole different ball of wax. It means you can't monetize it.
Sure.
Guess
No,
what?
I've got one on my. I did a not a stop motion, but like a still pictured He-Man bit, and I put the original Filmation music on it, and I got that.
Yeah, the Shuki Saban music there, slash Suki slash Saban music, will get you an ID claim. The only way around that is to find one of the cover bands that do that have released the song. If you put that behind it, it won't get you claimed.
Well, and I thought about, I'm starting to play around with that GarageBand app, and I thought about just making my own version of it.
Yeah, and there you go. And of course, if you do that, I would hope that you would share with a friend here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I would do kind of like our Scott Steiner AC/DC or the Vanilla Ice Queen, where it would be just a little off. So it's quote unquote mine, but obviously it's not it wouldn't be original.
Well, WWE was bad about doing that with the entrance themes.
Absolutely.
They even had their own writer that would write those entrance themes to make like music, so they'd have to pay the license fees for the music.
Right. Though that DX theme was very Rage Against the Machine, and that was hot at the time. I believe Diamond Dallas Page's music very much sounded like Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of them that they were just right there. They're like a note off or a step down or whatever you want to call it.
And that's the way around all of that, and I know it. As a matter of fact, last night we had a few bits that were put in the show. One of them was the debut of the Lone Ranger on Memphis Wrestling. And at the beginning of that, I got just a little piece of the beginning of the actual Lone Ranger television show from the 1950s. Would you believe that the music behind that, the William Tell Overture that they played in that, there's a copyright on that version?
Wow. Did not know that.
So, and I was doing that right before the showtime. I know you know I was kind of busy doing something over here, and when we were chatting before the show started, what I was doing was I was going in using the tools that YouTube gives you to edit your videos, and I edited the William Tell Overture that was on the video with a different version of that is in YouTube's stock music library. And if, believe it or not, the little short that I played, The Trouble with Women, and the first part of that was The Trouble with Women. The second one was a different short, just to fill it out a little bit. But the opening and closing music that was in that was copyright as well.
Well, they just don't let guy have any fun over here.
I went ahead and edited that out, and I don't normally do that, but I'm doing that for a reason. Right now I'm at 701 subscribers. I lost 2 last night. Everybody check your subscriptions. Somebody might have went and hit subscribe and they were already subscribed to me. That unsubscribes you. That happens. Sometimes YouTube unsubscribes you and you don't know it. So everybody check.
I've had that happen.
Yeah. Everybody check your subscriptions. Make sure that you're still subscribed. But I did lose two subscribers overnight. So I'm back to 701 subscribers, but I'm getting close. And also my watch hours are at like 3,500, which makes me 500 or so. Actually, it's 3,550. So I'm 450 watch hours away from monetization. when you monetize, and if Adam were here, he could tell us a little more about it because he's in the process of doing that now. Once you get your AdSense account created and you meet all the requirements, then they go in and they look at your content, which takes a little while to do, to determine whether you're good enough to be monetized. And one of the things that will get you is if the majority of your videos have ID claims on them, or if you're just reusing other material and not making significant changes to it. So I'm going to try to eliminate any ID claims that I have on any of my newer videos, to try to eliminate that possibility of that as I get closer to monetization, so that I can get the monetization to happen. We'll see how it goes.
Sure. No, and I wish you luck in that.
And Bobby Hicks says a lot of the WCW interest things were rip-offs of popular songs, and sure they were. You know, back in the old territory days, they would just release the song itself and have the wrestler come out to it, because you know they were kind of skirting the law, the thin line, because
it was a catch me if you can kind of vibe over there.
But when you get up to the big boys, it's a no-no, and the attorneys are sitting there looking at you, thinking about all the money that they're going to make you pay them.
Right.
And I, like Salt, does not trust YouTube, nor do I. But at the present moment, there are alternatives to YouTube, such as Rumble, but they don't work. YouTube's already here. The ability to get to the point that I'm at here on YouTube, it's a whole different animal when you start going over to these others, and they don't work like YouTube. If it was a true alternative to YouTube, it'd be a different story. But right now, it's not yet. It's kind of, it's kind of like Linux and Windows.
You know, and I thought about making a Rumble channel and seeing how that would go. But quite honestly, I have a hard enough time keeping up with the YouTube channel and all the other things that I'm doing. I mean, I don't just make videos or join your live streams. I mean, I'm also in a cover band. I'm selling comic books. I'm plant manager.
I mean, we got lives to lead. At least I do anyway. I walk out in the outdoors every now and again, unlike Twitchy TikTok, who's locked up in his house and never goes out and touches any grass. So I understand. And I tried to dual stream over at Twitch, but Twitch, I don't get it, and I don't. The way it works is so totally different and it pissed me off. So I quit even trying to do that. Screw it. I'm gonna stay right here, do what I'm doing. And I'm a toy channel. I'm not one of these guys like Salty Cracker or Jeremy over at the Quartering. I'm not touching on the issues that YouTube's going to shadow ban me for. So I'm just going to stay doing what I'm doing. I should be all right. Now that you have good internet, well, let's not say good, let's say better. It hasn't gotten to the good point yet, because I still drop every once in a while when too much is going on, I guess. You could try simulcasting to another platform like Instagram. I don't understand that, and I know that. Well, I don't know. Let me look here. I don't know that StreamYard supports Instagram simulcasting. I know you can do Facebook and you can do Twitter, and I don't even know how that works. Screw Twitter. So I don't know how all that works. I know Streamlab also lets you have the ability to simulcast, but you have to stream through their version of OBS, and I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, but I barely pay attention to it. I have the Instagram and the Facebook linked, so those two kind of, if I post on one, it'll post on the other. I do the tiki-talkie, and usually that's just a clip from my YouTube video, and everything's designed to funnel everybody to the YouTube. That's kind of what it is, you know, and I'm hoping with the YouTube, I will funnel everybody toward the comic business. So everything's going to kind of point at each other. I've made little business cards that have my Venmo, so I can get paid if you buy something, my YouTube channel, my Instagram link, everything that one needs to have a business. I even took your advice, Bill, and I converted my PayPal account to a business account. So that way I can't get caught with my pants undone when we do get to the point where, you know, money's changing hands on a bigger scale than it already is.
And I like Salt says even his chats get shadow banned by YouTube because he does get kind of chatty there. Well, you hang out over there in some of the places, you know, where the people that YouTube don't like to hang out. So, you know, there's that. I know that right now, if you even put the words Bud and Light together in your thumbnail or in your title of your video, that video is suppressed immediately by YouTube. Did you know that?
I did not. And, you know, this is kind of an unfortunate. I'm with you, Bill. I'm a freedom guy. You don't bother me. I don't bother you. We get to express our opinions and religions and political beliefs, and none of which I'm going to get into here. But I don't care what you believe. You can believe in lizard men and the moon landing was fake and the earth is flat. I don't care. I support your right to believe it, you know, and I do not like when big tech, you know, suppresses things, which again, I'm not going to get into things that they suppress, but we all know what we're talking about here, you know, and I try to keep my channel as free of politics as possible, but I still got to be me. Right. And so I might express a view that might show you where I land. And sometimes some people who got too much time on their hands, you know, get triggered by this kind of thing. And they want to have some big, long argument with me like it's Facebook 2020 or 2016, and I don't want to do it.
Exactly. I mean, there used to be a time when we could all agree to disagree about the things that we didn't agree about and just leave that part alone and still be buddies and pals.
Correct.
And for me and the people that are close to me, that's the way it is. If you want to be any different, then you may get pushed a little further out from the circle, let's just say. Moving right along here. Rolo had a power failure over there, so he's been out for about the last hour or so, not watching. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Glad you're back, though. Boba Hicks wants you to tell the story of your comic book business, Joneser. So while you're doing that, I'll just pop some more chat up here on the screen.
Sure. Well, I've always been a fan. I've been collecting since I was a kid, and as I've gotten into some adult money, I could buy some cooler stuff that, you know, you can't get as a kid, you know, books that you looked at and went, oh, I wish I had the money to buy that. Well, then I later got the money to buy some cooler comic books, and I started growing this massive personal collection. And then after a while, I started like, okay, I'm starting to run out of room. Like, I need to do something with some of this. And then I started getting into the taboo subject amongst the comic community of flipping books. So then I would buy collections, pull out books that I wanted, and then sell the rest of them to recoup the money. So basically I was funding my own hobby. I kind of did something similar with my Masters of the Universe vintage collection. I would buy big lots, take out the couple figures that I wanted, and then piece out the rest of them to make myself whole so I could repurpose the money and buy more nerdy things. So I did not acquire all these comics and toys, you know, like just buying them and not looking back. I eventually developed a formula to buy, sell, and trade. And so the hobby would fund itself. You know what I mean? And then it morphed into, well, maybe what do I want to do? Do I want to work at the plant until I retire? Or, you know, what would be the dream job for Jones? Or selling comic books and action figures and talking to folks who are passionate about them like me. So I thought, you know, in every video game I've ever played, the economic system, whether it's Zelda and it's rupees or it's freaking Final Fantasy and it's Gil or whatever you got, I always find a way to exploit the system and become some tycoon rich player in my video game simulation where I could go buy everything I wanted to buy and do anything I wanted to do, and there was no consequences. And I thought, how come I can't do that in real life? And so I tried to turn my brain into that direction. Now, the problem is if you want to be super successful in comics and toys, you have to like lose your soul and be that guy who goes into the store and buys the entire rack and then scalps them and does all that. And I couldn't bring myself to do that. So it's been a little bit of a harder slog for me to get the business off the ground due to, you know, not going to an old lady's house, offering her $20 for her hundreds of dollars worth of comic books and then walking away laughing. You know, I was honest with folks. So one of the first things I did, offered free appraisals. Mm-hmm. So, and I still do that. If you have a comic collection or a comic book and you need me to look at it and tell you what I think, you know, and usually I try to keep it short and sweet, you know, like I don't see anything there, or, you know, there's a couple books here. You can look them up on eBay, check the sold listing, or, hey, this one's freaking awesome. You never have to work again. Put that on Heritage Auctions. I've never got to say that yet. But, you know what I mean? I try to dabble in the business. Now I'm trying to do it for realsies, you know, and it's still not off the ground. I don't have a brick and mortar store. I'm trying to work a mailing service or to sell on eBay and Instagram and Facebook, and we're still trying it. So I'm not
you also have an idea that you're doing with your Patreon.
Correct. On my Patreon, on the third tier, it's a monthly subscription to a comic book mystery box. So for $25, I'll pack it full of $25 worth of comics and ship it to you myself, and it'll be a customized mystery box. So like say you say, hey, I like DC, I don't like Marvel. Well, then your box would be all DC, you know, or as close to that as I can do. You know, we have limited quantities, but I have a lot of books to choose from. Say you like a Silver Age, Bronze Age, and I'll do my best. Some of those books could be expensive. I might even ask you, would you like as many books as you can get for $25, or would you like one really freaking cool one, you know, for $25? Or, you know, I would be willing to work with folks.
There's a plethora of possibilities, in other words.
Correct. In fact, what would happen is if somebody went on to that, I would reach out and we would come up with something that would be suitable. That way, when you get your mystery box, you don't open it up and go, oh, great, I would have never bought any of these. I might as well just throw this away. That's how most of them are. Before
I get to Susudio's questions that she had for you, I do want to address one quick one here. I think Boba Hicks was this has been brought up on multiple occasions. Do you sell internationally or just within the United States?
I do just sell into the United States for the time being, but if someone was to reach out and message me, and I'm sure we could work something out. We might have to do it on the side or work shipping out or something like that. Like this is a business, and I am not trying to lose money on this, but I am selling comic books, and I'm sure we could come up with something that would be fair to both parties.
Well, yeah, and if he's using up all the profit that he's making off the comic books to cover that shipping cost, he's not making any money.
Well, not really, but I hate to give away my business secrets, but I usually bargain well for the collection, so I price competitively. Like you probably would get it for a better price from me than you would for a brick and mortar store. But then again, I'm working out of my basement. I'm not paying rent. I'm not paying utilities. I'm not paying an employee. So I could put that comic book at a little bit more of a competitive price. But to do that, like when I buy collections, I do have to bid responsibly. I can't overpay for collections because I buy too. But I can't go like if someone say I had 4,000 comic books and they're like, how about $4,000, $1 a piece? Well, man, most of those I'm going to sell for probably $1 or $2 a piece. I can't buy something for $1 and sell it for $1.
Yeah,
you know. So a bulk buy, I would have to talk the guy down is close to 20 cents a piece, 15 cents a piece, 25 cents a piece, you know, and then it would depend, are they bagged and boarded? Are there any keys in there? Is there anything of value? Is it a bunch of junk, or is there some good books? We'd have to negotiate around the good books. I'm fair with folks, but at the end of the day, it's a business. I'm doing a bulk buy. If I'm going to spend a lot, I want to get a lot. And then I'll pass it on to whomever buys from me the best that I can.
Right, and as we sometimes say when we have to handle some business in the world I live in, it ain't personal, it's just business.
Every negotiation, especially when a deal can't be done, I always say, well, the offer stands It's a nice collection. I shake hands. We part ways.
Right.
And sometimes I'm told to go F myself while I'm being polite.
Right. Pretty much. All right. So Susudio says that she has a question. She's got a box of comics. She got a box of comics at an auction for PBS and has no idea what she's got. So what does she need to do to figure out what she has? What does she look for?
Well, is she on Instagram? Are you on Instagram?
That's a good question. I don't know what social medias that she does. Let's see if she answered you.
Or an
Not
email
yet.
or Facebook, anything like that would be the quickest way.
Yeah, and I'm sure that if you want to contact Joneser personally, I've got his email address, Susudio, and you have mine. So if you email me a request, I will pass that along to Joneser, and then you guys can work together, and you can take a couple of photos of what you have and send them to Joneser, and Joneser will be more than happy to help you price what you have and tell you what you got.
Right, or even to give it
for you.
Or even to give advice, like I would sell them like this, or this would work better as a lot, or put that one off to the side. That's your special one. The rest of those are.
She's got
Alice Cooper and Kiss.
Yeah.
If they're from the 70s, you might really have something there.
And she also said she heard that there's a comic of the Wild Wild West. I know Go Key did a lot of comic book based upon TV series at the time, and it wouldn't surprise me if they did do that. Joneser, you may know more about that than I do, being my favorite comic book guy.
Well, a lot of the cowboy comics were big, especially in the 40s and 50s. 50s especially, they were huge market. The Wild Wild West, is she talking to Will Smith?
No, she's talking the old TV series.
Okay, she's on Twitter and Facebook, so this will be real easy. We can get a hold of each other through either one of those. Facebook
Absolutely.
probably be the easiest for messaging.
Okay, all right, yeah, and of course the same question that you asked, the old school Wild Wild West TV series, the movie. Did they even do a comic of that?
I'm not sure. They did one on just about everything. They've got everything from Roy Rogers to Bonanza to, if it could be a comic book, it was a comic book a lot of times. The problem with a lot of the Wild West stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to address this issue, but you were talking. I talked over you. Sorry. Go ahead and finish your thought, man.
Well, I was just saying a lot of the Wild West stuff, it's kind of a little more miss than it is hit as far as value. Very few of them get a lot of money. Most of them, $5 here, $10 there, depending on condition.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff, the market for that is tending to die away. I think we talked about that personally earlier.
Yes, I can find a kid that wants to buy Spider-Man. I cannot find a kid that wants to buy Roy Rogers or John Wayne.
And the studio says I was going to do Patreon, but I don't have a PayPal account, and the amount it shows is out of my price range. Here's the thing. There's a suggested amount up there at the top, yes. But if you scroll on down, you have the ability to do an amount that you choose.
I was going to ask you, how does one do that? Because I was trying to dink around with mine today because Adam had told me he had a problem. I Patreon Adam, and his Canadian. So $5 Canadian and $5 American, he'd be losing out on it. And so he wanted to match, but I might have to get with you to figure out how to do that.
All right. Let me see if I can pull up my Patreon page real quick, which may make me stutter a little. Just bear with me. I'm going to try to. I don't want to see this. I want to see it. Look at here. Wow, there we go. I want to go from creator to Patreon here, people. There we go. My Patreon. There we go. All right, now. and I am following myself. So that means that as a, I can pull up my actual Patreon page, and it brings me back to this. Dadgummit. Oh, I'll just go to another Patreon page. Maybe I can see it there. Wait. Here we go. Now, well, I think maybe this is it. Follow this link and see if it'll go there. No, I copied the link. Dadgummit. All right. Let me log out of it. Okay. Patreon.com/weird fantastic pull that up. Okay. All right. Let me share this screen here with everyone, and bear with me here as I do all this technical mumbo jumbo garbo here. Share that. All right, and come back over here to StreamYard, and I'm going to take this off the screen and add this into the stream. So you come to this page here, and you want to become a Patreon, so you click where it says become Patreon. Let's click on that, and it will bring you over here and make you see it. So I don't get to show you that way either. Dadgummit. All right, let me stop sharing that for a minute.
Yeah, and I was wondering, I might just want to try to log in through my computer because I've been doing everything through my phone. And I noticed with YouTube, there were certain things I couldn't do through the phone. I had to go onto a computer to change certain things. And I'm wondering if Patreon probably works the same way. There's only certain limitations I could do through the phone app as far as customizing.
All right. I'm going to bring this page up. Hold on. Back up again. Did I stop sharing it all together?
You did.
I did. All right. Like to present, and there's some things on here that I don't want you to see, so it's going to be kind of. So I can't do the drop down menu to show you payment methods because it's got some numbers in there that you don't need to see, and nobody does on the interwebs.
Absolutely.
Add this to the stream and come back over here. Okay, we'll zoom in. All right, so with payment details, if I were to click this down, I've got a payment method besides PayPal on there as well. You can click here where it says add new payment method, and that will allow you to add your credit card in there if you want to, if you have a credit or debit card. So you put that in like you would for any site like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, Amazon, whatever, and you can do it without having to do it with PayPal. The other thing is it says choose what you pay. It suggests $5, but you can. Let's see. I think 10 cents is the least you can do, maybe. So I don't know. Let's see. This is red over here. Refresh. All right. I don't know. I've got into some sort of a mess up here, so
sure.
Stop sharing that. But the screen. I think that there is a limit of the amount you can give in there. It may be 25 cents. I'm not sure, but the $5 is a suggested amount. It's supposed to be anyway. The way I set that up on my setup screen, you and I can after the show's over, we can look at that together if you want to. And I don't mind you seeing things, but I don't want the worldwide web.
Sure. So. No, I'm wondering because I have the 3 tiers. If that is why I don't have a fourth, or maybe I do. I guess I don't know.
Well, let me bring that back up and let's go over to your page and let's check that out. Patreon. All right, I'm going to navigate to it and then I'll share it. So just give me a moment.
Sure. Because I don't know how it looks from the other person's end.
Yeah, and you have to monkey around to be able to see those types of things. So let me go to the Motu Joneser page and bring you up here. I've got the page pulled up, and I'm going to share that. Share screen and Chrome tab and share and present. Add that to the stream. So this is what we see. We see your banner up here at the top. You have your icon here, Motu Jones, or your favorite comic book guy, like that. And then, of course, there's the posts that you can see underneath here. And however you set those up, you can set those up so that Patreon only sees them, or you can share them with anybody. You need to share a couple of posts, at least at the beginning. If you have an intro video, it needs to be shared with the world so that potential new Patreons can come in and view that.
Yeah, that's what that one is.
And we'll go over to the membership section here. And it says your membership. You've got the Sidekick $5 membership, and of course, your name in the credits. You can upgrade your membership. Here's the recommended by creator. That the partner is $10 a month, and it tells you what you get in the tier. And then you have another tier, superhero, and you only have 40 slots on that. So once that fills up, then that's when the giveaways start, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that's just the limitation to how many comic mystery boxes I could sell. The giveaway is actually in the $10 tier, and all I need is about 5-6 people to jump on that. We'll do the drawing. And if we don't get that amount or any, then we just won't do a drawing. But if we get, like, say we get 2 people, then we'll do a drawing for something worth $20-$30, or you know what I mean. I'll do whatever amount makes sense to who's in there. So I mean, I'm not making any money off this drawing.
I got you.
And it's just going to be a break. Just the more people in it, the cooler thing we'll do.
Okay, and I don't see it here, but usually down here at the bottom, that may be a tick box that you may have to tick.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Is how to do
let's
it.
Let's go and check out Grindhead Jim. Grindheads looks a little different than ours because I think he spends a little bit more. He does the upgrade package that they have. I'm doing the free one that doesn't include the tiers. So go to the membership page. There we go. Are we still seeing this, Jones? Are you still seeing this?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. All right. Membership. Now, see up here at the top, he's fixed it where you like mine shows you how much I'm making off of it. He's not showing you how much he makes. I'm not sure how that works. He's linked his podcast apps to that, and his Discord community has been connected to that. So that's interesting. And here's his membership tiers, and I don't see it on there. So
I guess it's not an option to clear it up. And that makes sense because I couldn't find that slider. So because Clifton has it. I've seen it where you could tip any amount. I just signed up for Clifton's this morning.
Let's go over to Super Johns and check that out. It's welcome page. Henchman Padawan, weapon supplier or faithful advisor, ruler supreme, Shell Moore. I don't know. I swear to God. Let's see what these drop down menus do. Media type. Oh, that's posts. Okay, that everything to do with that. I swear I thought I saw that there was ability to do the amount you choose, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking because I couldn't find anywhere the ability to put that in with the tiers, but before I did the tiers, you could do that.
Yeah, yeah.
But quite honestly, if that's what it is, I'd prefer to just leave it up with the tiers because that's kind of more in line with what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and that's kind of same here. You know, when you start doing, and I don't mind just getting $1. I may fix it where you can do it for just $1, but I want to get enough money to where I'm actually getting a little money. And I don't mean to be a beggar, and I don't mean to seem like I'm money grubber, but I'm actually spending money. I'm spending, and you know this, Jones, or I spent way more than what I'm getting in just to upgrade my cable package here. My internet just jumped because I got the speed package that I got. I'm going to have to buy a new modem eventually, and that's going to be the top of the line, the big boy modem, the one that's going to give me everything I need to be able to even do this in 4K without the dropouts and all that. I'm talking a $500 modem here.
We could absolutely hook up on Instagram, Rolo. Just send me a DM on there anytime.
That good thing there. Getting on down the line here, there's let's see, who else is here? We already saw that one. Inside album, Facebook under her name, not Susudio. I know what her name is, but I'm not going to say it here unless I have her permission.
Just DM it to me, and I'll find her on there, and we can message. And
sure.
As long as pictures is going to be the big thing that's going to tell me what's what. Just a good picture of the front cover.
Hey, Gojitron, glad to see you join us today. He says, Wild Wild West, Go Key, 7 issues from 1966.
There you go.
Gojitron has got lots of information in his skull, and I love having him on the show because any questions we have, he probably has the answer. He's been listening from work. I had nothing to add to the wrestling conversations. That's okay, man.
Not a fan?
Probably not. I don't know. I'll let him answer that. Gojitron, you are fascinating. A bottomless sea full of knowledge. Absolutely. Let's see. I'm full of something, Rolo. The secret is not knowing, but knowing where to look.
There is a lot of value in that. And in fact, when pricing comic books can be tricky because it's a matter of perspective. Like I used to try to give specific grades. In grading, they give you a projected. To me, it's not graded till you grade it. So I could hold this book up and tell you it's a 5, it's a 4, it's a 6. It's raw. Now, what I do there, instead of try to assign it a number, I'll say it's raw low, raw high, raw mid. I won't elaborate any further because grading is subjective. But then also it determines the price of said book. Now, that book in a high grade probably be, $10, $15, who knows, in a low grade too.
And the grading has changed over the years because I remember the old CBG, used to have all those outrageous prices in it, and the grading scale has changed drastically since then. The things that you can do, I mean, you can restore comic books now where you used to take the value down. Now
you'll get a different color label. Like this book here is a CGC blue label, which is what you want to see, this blue label on the top. This means the comic is in its original condition. So if you get a purple label, that means there's some restoration that's been detected, either color touch or trimming, or it's got a facsimile cover, or it has something that will tell you that book has been messed with or altered. And a purple label can hurt the value bad. Like that same book in the same grade in a blue label will probably go for 2 or 3 times more money than the purple label will kill your price. A green label would indicate the book is missing a page, or had that Marvel value stamp cut out of your Hulk 181 and just ruined the price of it. The green would mean something's missing. Now you can opt to get the blue label and on something like that, but they would knock your grade down to 0.5 or 0.1 or whatever it is, and then it would be notated on the top, what the issue was, restoration or incomplete or what have you.
Well, my question is, a true graded comic now has to be slabbed as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. It has to be by one of the there's a lot of companies that do it, but if you're really looking to get the most value, the CGC ones seem to be the most hold their value. CBCS has its advantages because one thing for CGC, if you have an autographed comic book, say you have one with like Stan Lee's autograph or somebody on there, CGC will write on the top of that, someone wrote on this book. They will not touch the autograph. They will not authenticate it. They might even give you a green label on it, because it gets damaged, basically. And where CBCS, I believe they're partnered with Beckett, and they will do an autograph authentication. Now, to get that, you get a gold label. CGC will give you a gold label too if you use their autograph service, where you have to do their autograph signing from basically one of their graders has to witness the signature. So you could send your autograph book to CGC with your certificate of authenticity, and they will send it right back to you with a green label that says someone wrote on this book.
Very interesting. And in case there are those of you who may not know what we're talking about when we say slabbed, elaborate on that just slightly. Quickly.
Well, basically, here's a comic book in its raw form. Okay, so it comes like that. You can pull it out of the plastic sleeve, and you could read it, enjoy it, smell it, fold it up, put it in your back pocket, whatever you want to do. Now, once you get it slabbed, it gets encased in this hard plastic, and it's protected. It's given a number. Ooh, let me see if I can get that number there on the top.
Let me in big and quick.
That number there on the top that says 9.8, that's the grade for that book. So the book is given a grade, a number, suggesting its condition, and then it's encased in that hard plastic. And now you can't never take that book out of there, or you've completely erased the grade. And you've completely, it's back to a raw form. And so there's money and time, and there's books I've went upside down on. Like I sent 10 books in, and basically the game I was playing, if they all hit 9.8s, I'm going to make $100 a piece on them. But unfortunately, 3 of them came back. 1 came back at 9.6, and 2 of them came back at 9.2. And the 9.2s hurt me because with shipping and everything, it was probably $30 to $50 a piece to grade those books, and they go on eBay for like $15, $20. So I lost money on 2 of them, but the other 7 I made money on. So, that's kind of the economics in comics, you know what I mean? Like, and not every book needs to be graded or slabbed. There's a lot like baseball cards are doing the grading now, and people prefer raw cards sometimes, or people prefer the graded ones. It's all a matter of personal preference. I do think the argument with the baseball cards in the comic book, though, is a graded baseball card. You can pick it up and you could flip it to either side, and you could see everything that the card has to offer. Whereas the comic book, once it's graded, you can never open it again. You can never look at it again. It's basically a decoration now. It's a paperweight. But if you want to get the best price for said book and have it graded, like if you took this thing to Pawn Stars, he's going to tell you raw, oh, well, I'm going to have to pay to get that thing graded, and I'm going to have to pay to get it, Whereas back there, you're like, here it is. It's already graded, CGC 9.8. It's worth this much. Now what?
All right, I got you. And to reiterate a point he just made, once that thing is encased in that plastic case, that hard plastic case, it's in there forever.
Well, you could open it, but you just devalued the grade.
Yeah, and not only that, to open it, you have to break that plastic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah, you do. You have to snapping it. It's much like the action figure game. Once you open the action figure out of the box, it lost its value. It's no longer mint in box. It is now open.
Right.
It's the same idea.
And real quick here, Boba Hicks says, how much coffee do I consume on a daily basis? On any normal given day, this is me now talking. I'll let Jones answer that. His question for him in a minute. But for me, on a normal daily basis, 1 cup in the morning, and that's it. On the weekends, when I'm doing this crazy crap here, I chain drink coffee. So I don't know how much coffee I've consumed since Friday night, but it's been a goddamn lot of it.
I'm similar. At work, I have 1 in the morning and then 1 on my first break, and that's it. So 2 a day for the most part. But yeah, then on the weekends when I'm running a mile a minute, yeah, I got my freaking bathtub-sized cup, and I am downing it like it's going out of style.
Yeah, and you just reminded me of something there, Boba Hicks. I just put a K-cup in the Keurig. I'm sure you can hear it grinding over here. It's making me another cup of coffee. All right, Susudio says, years ago I had a PayPal account, but it was just for one purchase, and I don't know if it's still there. Oh, it's still there. Obviously, if it is, and I haven't used it since the eBay fiasco of a broken tablet that wasn't refunded. Okay. Yeah, I hate that, but yeah, if you've ever had an active PayPal account, when you put your information in that they need you to put in, they'll tell you still have an active account, and how you recover that, that's going to be between you and PayPal. You can call them on the phone. They do have humans that answer. Getting to them is going to be like it is for anything nowadays, jumping through the hoops of the phone automation. But once you get to a human, they usually get your problem resolved one way or the other within 48 hours. Right. Like I said, I'm not saying that they're going to resolve it in your favor, but they'll do everything in their power to try to do that if you can authenticate yourself to them.
And I believe it's free to set up a PayPal. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just once money starts getting moved around, that's where the fees come in.
And the Patreon phone app is notoriously shit. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I have it on my phone, and I do use it because that's what you do when you're not at home on the computer. But there are much more options available to you, and it's much easier to navigate.
Yeah, I set the whole damn thing up on my phone, so yeah, frustrating.
Dojatron says about 3 liters of coffee a day he drinks.
Man, after my own heart.
And he also did you a favor by converting our stupid American measurements into metric there, so that you can understand. Studio says I tried it and it told me $49.99. Tried what?
$49 for what?
Yeah, for what? What? $5 isn't what I got shown. Are you talking about on my Patreon? Oh no! My Patreon is $5.
My thing is, she probably put 5 in, and it fat fingered her or something, and then she got a 50.
Yeah, you can put any amount you want to in that. It just starts. It just suggests the $5 in there, but you should be able to put. Now, I think that there is a lower limit on that. I encountered that error just a minute ago when I tried to do 10 cents. I don't know what the lower limit is, but once that little dollar sign stops being red over there, that's how much you can donate there on there. And I have no tiers, because to do the tiers you have to go the next step up at Patreon. You can explain that better than I can, because
I believe the one you're on, it's 5% they take, and then for me it's 8 because I did the tiers, and then there's a step above that, which I don't know if it's 10 or where they go from there. But it keeps going up what level of access you get or what you can do with it.
But I will say this: the amount that they choose to keep for themselves to keep their business running is a lot less than what YouTube takes. YouTube takes 30% of anything that you get.
That makes sense. You know, and I mean, most of this is an experiment for me, just trying to get the name out there, get the subscriber count up, get some awareness for my comic business, and that kind of thing. That's my aim.
Gotcha. And it makes sense. We're all doing this for various reasons. I want to use the money to improve my show. Grindhead Jim does that as well, but he also buys figures with it to show on his show, and he also uses a portion of his money to support other creators. And I do support other creators, but I don't do it with my PayPal money, excuse me, my Patreon money. However, I've considered doing that in the future, and if I ever do, I will change what it says on my page. But right now, I'm going to stick with what I said. Right. All money that you give me is going right back into this show. 3 liters. I'm thinking between 4 or 5 coffees and 1 or 2 Cokes. Was wondering if I'm overdoing it, but I do sleep well. Okay, well, I mean, you do you. I do know that there is an overconsumption of caffeine that can happen. I've done that once in my life, and that's not fun.
My parents can make a pot of coffee, drink it, and go to bed.
I can too. My wife cannot. I don't get me why it showed me such a high amount. I tried the other night during one of your test streams. Oh, I don't know. I can't tell you.
That's strange to me.
Yeah. Gojatron says that he's built up an immunity to caffeine. Well, it's kind of like any drug, I suppose. You know, there's the law of diminishing returns.
Right.
I don't mean to be a problem child. I just want to let you know that show up. Well, you're not a problem child. If it's an issue, we do need to resolve it. But for me, I can't see it on my end, and nobody else has told me that that's a problem. Perhaps clear your cache out, refresh your browser, and go back to the page and see if it's still showing you that error. If it is, let me know. Everyone has a Patreon except me. I'm not doing it. Screwing your peer pressure. So I'm not pressuring you to do anything. You do you, and I do me. Gojatron. I have a buy me a coffee. Okay. I think that maybe my tips can be support me by buying me coffee so that I can stay awake on these marathon weekends. I think there must have been something weird going on the other night with what you've shown. Then I was gravely misinformed. That distracts from people who want to join. Yeah. $5 is a suggested amount. I think you can do lower than that. I don't know what the lower limit amount is, but and I don't do tiers, so I don't know jack about CGC grading and slabbing. I have an Avengers #6 signed by Stan that I just have bagged and boarded. Well, I'd leave that bagged and boarded because what he's saying is that the authentication of the signature is an issue with one grading company.
And if you do decide to slab that book, go to CBCS, not CGC. CGC will not, they'll give you that green label and it's going to hurt the value of the book. You'd have been better off not doing anything to it at all. But if you go to CBCS, they will authenticate that signature for a price.
For a nominal fee, yeah.
And then they will put it in a gold label, which means the signature is verified. So if you ever got to a point where you wanted to resell it, you could ask for optimal dollar amount. But if you're just keeping the book for your personal collection, maybe you don't no need to slab it. To me, slabbing is either for preservation or for reselling, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I agree. No, there's no need to be sorry. You don't need to apologize for this. If there are issues, we need to know about them so we can resolve them. Let's see. Shaitan's Hammer said, I only just returned to Instagram after having issues with an old account. I did see that Shaitan's Hammer does have an Instagram up there. If Rolando's still around, I'm sure he can throw that up there in the chat there for everyone. I drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning and 1 at night, tea in between. Okay. Tea's also got caffeine in it. I don't know how the caffeine amount in tea ranks with coffee. I guess it depends upon the brand of tea that you're drinking. Well, we've had quite a bit of chat about all sorts of different things here in the last 20 minutes. Interesting.
I'd say
a gamut of things.
I'd say we always go on a tangent, but I enjoy it. It's just kind of our way.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm ready to spend the rest of the afternoon unwinding.
I don't blame you.
And getting prepared to go back into the real world and go to work and all that shit tomorrow morning. So I think we're going to bring this one to an end. Have you got any final thoughts there, Jones, before I stop this?
Not really. Have a happy Sunday. Enjoy what's left of your weekend, folks. Just like Bill said, use the time to do you, rewind, unwind, refresh. Unfortunately, I'm not going to take any of my own advice. I'm going to start cleaning my basement, digging through laundry, and doing all the chores I didn't want to do yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess that's the end of the show, folks. Good journey, everyone. See you next time. There's no telling what you might find. So let me take the banner off the screen here and go over here and give you all the ending for the show. Good journey, everybody.
Special thanks to the channel supporters. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like, subscribe, and share the video.